I should have seen it coming. Maybe you did. The virus was already all over East Asia and in Italy and Iran. And on February 29th, the United States reported its first death from the coronavirus. The wind was blowing colder than you'd expect so close to the start of spring, at least in California.
When the March winds blow and they melt the snow, all the world is bright and new. It's a welcome sight for me and you. But the days have still got an icy chill, and I think it's such disgrace that the guy who brings the magic spring hasn't shown his face. Mr. Bluebird, why are you late? Why do you wait? Mr. Bluebird, sing your song of spring once more. Mr. Bluebird, hustle along, singing a song. Mr. Bluebird, hang the roses round my door. And when you put spring fever in the air, give it that master touch. Go and make my sweetie really swear she's loving me twice as much. Mr. Bluebird, bring us the bees up in the trees. Mr. Bluebird, sing your song of spring once more. Mr. Bluebird, why are you late? Why do you wait? Mr. Bluebird, sing your song of spring once more. Mr. Bluebird, hustle along, singing a song. Mr. Bluebird, hang the roses round my door. And when you put spring fever in the air, give it that master touch. Go and make my sweetie really swear she's loving me twice as much. Mr. Bluebird, bring us the bees up in the trees. Mr. Bluebird, sing your song of spring once more.
Me? I hadn't been reading much news. On that very day, February 29th, I did my show at Martuni's. It went great. The room was packed. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. There were lots of hugs afterwards. I'm still expecting the CDC to call and tell me that I was a super spreader. I love my friends, and they love me. We're just as close as we can be. And just because we really care, whatever we get, we share. I got it from Agnes, she got it from Jim. We all agree it must have been Louise who gave it to him. She got it from Harry, who got it from Marie. And everybody knows that Marie got it from me. Giles got it from Daphne, she got it from Joan, who picked it up in County Cork, a-kissin' the Blarney Stone. Pierre gave it to Sheila, who must have brought it there. He got it from Francois and Jacques. Aha! Lucky Pierre. Max got it from Edith, who gets it every spring. She got it from her daddy, who just gives her everything. She then gave it to Daniel, whose spaniel has it now. Our dentist even got it, and we're still wondering how. But I got it from Agnes, or maybe it was Sue, or Millie, or Jilly, or Billy, or Willie, it doesn't matter who. It might have been at the pub, or at the club, or in the loo. And if you will be my friend, then I might. Mind you, I said might. Give it to you. That was our mystery pianist playing those first two songs. How about a big round of applause? I was saying I hadn't been paying attention to the pandemic. In my defense, certain people were downplaying anything that didn't make them look good. It's almost as if our well-being wasn't their first concern. Take it away, Eryn Allen. When I wake up in the afternoon, which it pleases me to do, don't nobody bring me no bad news. 'Cause I wake up already negative and I've wired up my fuse. So don't nobody bring me no bad news. If we're going to be buddies, better bone up on the rules. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can be my best of friends as opposed to paying dues. But don't nobody bring me no bad news, no bad news, no bad news. Don't you ever bring me no bad news. 'Cause I'll make you an offer, child, that you cannot refuse. So don't nobody bring me no bad news. When you're talking to me, don't be crying the blues. 'Cause don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can verbalize and vocalize, but just bring me the clues. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can bring some message in your head or in something you can't lose. But don't nobody bring me no bad news. If you're gonna bring me something I can use. But don't nobody bring me no bad news, no bad news, no bad news. Don't you ever bring me no bad news. 'Cause I'll make you an offer, child, that you cannot refuse. So don't you ever bring me no bad news. Don't you bring me, 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 don't you bring me no bad news. Don't do it. Fortunately, at least Bay Area public health officials were paying attention. Can I get a hand for Sarah Cody? Thank you. An early study in Santa Clara County showed just how contagious the virus was. And on St. Patrick's Day, the lockdown started. Oh man, I had been so ready for St. Patrick's Day. I'd been learning Yip Harburg songs for months. I knew half of Finian's Rainbow. Now that was all off the table. We weren't going anywhere. Well, we weren't supposed to. Some people kept on going out, like nothing had changed. Here's Dwight Okamura on keys.
The country, my beloved, is a hoax. So let's stay here in town and spike our cokes. Let's just have fun, let's not be serious. Play it for laughs, let's just be cheerious. Everybody knows the human race has lost its reason. Let's just talk of clothes and what we're gonna drink this season. Let's dig the scene and have our fling with it. Because we're young, let's ding-a-ling with it. Let's not fret and fuss, 'cause all we've got is us, baby. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun, let's not be serious. Play it for laughs, let's just be cheery us. We don't give a damn for pundits who are sage and solemn. We read Sheila Graham, she really writes a swinging column. Let's just have fun, let's dig the happenings. This world is weird and full of crazy things. Shakespeare was a hack, so we read Kerouac, baby. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun, let's not be serious. Play it for laughs, let's just be cheerious. I'll be happy as a carousel with you beside me, with a little jazz and Norman Vincent Peale to guide me. Let's have a ball, let's live it up, my dear. Don't be afraid, 'cause we can make it here. Elvis is the champ, and everything's a camp. Baby, let's just have fun. Let's just have fun, let's play it all for kicks. Let's not be squares who talk of politics. Kill the lullaby and listen to the wild percussion. Turn the volume high, forget about that mean old Russian. Let's just stay calm, there's nothing we can do about that bomb, there's only me and you. No more barricades or May Day red parades. We just have one life, let's make it a fun life, baby. Let's just have fun.
Some people were flouting the lockdown. But my better half and I, the week before, we had written the last check for our kitchen renovation. A day before, a very smart plumber had restored water to our upstairs bathroom that had been off for 2 months. For the first time in more than 2 years, we had a nice house with no problems, and we didn't mind at all having to stay in it.
Since first we started out, we've simply run about, and life's been one long route, unending. We're always opening plays and closing cabarets. To me it seems our ways need bending. Let's let the dressy dames with hyphenated names in search of faster games fly by. Content with being slow, we'll never let them know the nicest place to go is bye-bye. Why don't we try staying home? Why don't we try not to roam? What if we threw a party or two and staying home. Why don't we try not to roam? What if we threw a party or two and asked only you and me? Though all the home folks that we know pay for it later in Reno, just being still might give us a brand new thrill. So why don't we try staying home? Why don't we try staying home? Stay home.
Thank you again, mystery pianist. If you can't go out, why not quarantine with the right person? Here's Paul Hogarth.
People in Brazil are happy in the moon glow. Those who want a thrill fulfill their fondest dreams. But when it rains, I wonder, does it hamper or put a damper on sentimental schemes? What did they do on a rainy night in Rio? What did they do when there is no starry sky? Where do they go when they can't go for a walk? Do they stay home and talk, or do they sit and sigh? Where do they go on a rainy night in Rio? Where does a gay senorita say, "See"? Maybe the girl wants a tender kiss, and yet, how tender can you get when you're beneath a wet palm tree? But what did they do in Mississippi when it gets drippy? And what do they do when it gets murky in Albuquerque? And what do they do in Tijuana when they wanna snuggle tight? Well, that's what they do in Rio on a rainy night. What do they do on a rainy night in Rio? What did they do when there is no starry sky? Where do they go when they can't go for a walk? Do they stay home and talk, or do they sit and sigh? Where do they go on a rainy night in Rio? Where does a gay senorita say, "See"? Maybe the girl wants a tender kiss, and yet, how tender can you get when you're beneath a wet palm tree? But what did they do when skies are dreary along Lake Erie? And what did they do when grass is dewy in old St. Louis? And what did they do in Tallahassee when a lassie says, "All right"? Well, that's what they do in Rio on a rainy night. That's what they do in Rio on a rainy night.
In a few years, the media might be going on about Generation Q conceived in quarantine. I can see how if you were quarantined without someone that you were close to, it might be hard to resist the urge to pop the bubble every now and then. Here's Russell Deason. touch my fingertips, and my heart is aglow. I bend to kiss your lips, and I can't let you go. Maybe I should resist, I'm a fool, I know. But at a time like this, my resistance is low. Your eyes have magic, they seem to say, come closer, my darling, come closer, and somehow I can't break away. Can't you see that I want to be adored more than you'll ever know? I'm going overboard with a capital O. So don't be persistent, please keep your distance, you know my resistance is low. Your eyes have magic, they seem to say, come closer, my darling, come closer, and somehow I can't break away. Can't you see that I want to be adored more than you'll ever know? I'm going overboard with a capital O. So don't be persistent, please keep your distance, you know my resistance is low. Not us. We stayed home like we were supposed to. Nick Perez will back me up on this. Though it's a fickle age, with flirting all the rage, here is one bird with self-control, happy inside my cage. I know who I love best, thumbs down to all the rest. My love is given heart and soul, so it can stand the test. No one to talk with, all by myself, no one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. I know for certain, the one I love, I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for, believe me. I don't stay out late, don't care to go. Get home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. like Jack Horner in the corner. Don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. Get home about it, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. My better half was still employed, and her company was considered essential, so we were pretty secure. Check out pipettebaby.com for hand sanitizer that doesn't dry out your baby's skin or yours. And she could work at home most days. Me? I'd been unemployed since November. I was even already signed up for unemployment, so I didn't have to fight the crush. Oh, and did I mention that my better half cooks like a dream? Joe Wicht recommended this song a while back, but it wasn't until quarantine that I was lazy enough to do it justice. You're a good-for-nothing lazy bones. Long as there is chicken gravy on your rice, everything is nice. Long as there's a watermelon on your vine, everything is fine. You got no time to work, you got no time to play. Busy doing nothing all the livelong day. You won't ever change no matter what I say. You're just made that way. Lazy bones, sleeping in the sun. How you expect to get your day's work done? Never get your day's work done. Sleeping in the noonday sun. Lazy bones, sleeping in the shade. How you expect to get your cornmeal made? Never get your cornmeal made. Sleeping in the evening shade. When taters need spraying, I bet you keep praying the bugs fall off of the vine. And when you go fishing, I bet you keep wishing the fish won't grab at your line. Lazy bones, loafing through the day. How do you expect to make a dime that way? Never make a dime that way. Never hear a word I say. When taters need spraying, I bet you keep praying the bugs just fall off of the vine. And when you go fishing, I bet you keep wishing the fish won't jump at your line. Lazy bones, loafing through the day. How you expect to make a dime that way? Never make a dime that way. Well, looky here. You never hear the word I say. Well, we did go through that phase where we had wine for lunch and dinner. But I can only relax for so long. I'd been doing nothing but learning songs for months. I just kept at it. I figured we'd flatten that curve, the stay-at-home order would expire at the beginning of April, and I'd be back at the open mics with some new material under my belt.
Hummingbird, mockingbird, listen to me. I've got no nest, I've got no tree. Oh, but I'm happy as heaven is wide. I've got a song bubbling inside. Can't help singing of a promise that April is bringing. I am floating along on the crest of a song. There are bells in my heart and they're ringing. Can't help crowing. Folks don't like it, I know, but I'm glowing. I can't help what they say. Spring affects me this way, and I've gotta keep singing all day. Can't help singing of a promise that April is bringing. I am floating along on the crest of a song. There are bells in my heart and they're ringing. Can't help crowing. Folks don't like it, I know, but I'm glowing. I can't help what they say. Spring affects me this way, and I've gotta keep singing. I've gotta keep singing. I've gotta keep singing all day.
So, yeah, about that April reopening?
Once April fooled me with an afternoon so gold, so warm, so beguiling, that I thought the drowsy earth would wake up smiling. But April fooled me then, the night was cold. Once someone fooled me with a kiss that touched my heart beyond all believing. But like April, that sweet moment was deceiving. It was not really spring or really love. You were alike, you two. Restless April fooled me, darling, so did you. Once April fooled me with an afternoon so gold, so warm, so beguiling, that I thought the drowsy earth would wake up smiling. But April fooled me then, the night was cold. Once someone fooled me with a kiss that touched my heart beyond all believing. But like April, that sweet moment was deceiving. It was not really spring or really love. You were alike, you two. Restless April fooled me, darling, so did you.
Come April, the curve was still headed upward and the stay-at-home order was extended. Oh, thanks to our mystery pianist for those last two numbers. Did you notice Mr. Bluebird really did take longer than usual to get here? We got a few rainstorms. During one of them, Paul did his rain show, and I recorded Rainy Night in Rio. But what I really noticed was how cold it was for so long. Maybe it was all the cars being off the road that affected the weather. Maybe nature was playing along with how the whole human world was on hold. Here's Jef Labes playing along. January and February were never so empty and gray. Tragically, I feel like crying. Without you, my darling, I'm dying. But let's rather put it this way. Spring will be a little late this year, a little late arriving in my lonely world over here. For you have left me, and where is our April of old? You have left me, and winter continues cold, as if to say spring will be a little slow to start, a little slow reviving that music it made in my heart. Yes, time heals all things, so I needn't cling to this fear. It's merely that spring will be a little late this year. Spring will be a little slow to start, a little slow reviving that music it made in my heart. Yes, time heals all things, so I needn't cling to this fear. It's merely that spring will be a little late this year. I sang that when Shelter in Place was extended through April, and again when it was extended through May. Staying at home was really starting to get old. Some people were having a really hard time. So hard that it took 3 Ben Princes to say it right.
I look around and what I see is I don't belong here. This isn't me. What have I become? I'm really not this girl. All there is, what's it gonna take to get on the streets? When do I get a break? It's not what I wanted, this is not my world. I know where I choose to go. If I could disappear
That letterboxing was an unfortunate side effect of jamming Ben's work in with the rest of these songs that I recorded on my phone held vertically. Let's say that it shows what it felt like being in quarantine for so long. Everyone likes spring, but not this year. Everyone's plans were ruined. Venues were closed, shows canceled. A lot of people lost their jobs. I'd planned to take another class at the jazz school and work on this song. So much for that plan. Once I was a sentimental thing, threw my heart away each spring. Now a spring romance hasn't got a chance. Promised my first dance to winter. All I've got to show's a splinter for my little fling. Spring this year has got me feeling like a horse that never left the post. I lie in my room staring up at the ceiling. Spring can really hang you up the most. Morning's kiss wakes trees and flowers, and to them I'd like to drink a toast. But I walk in the park just to kill lonely hours. Spring can really hang you up the most. All afternoon the birds twitter twit. I know the tune. This is love, this is it. Heard it before, and I know the score. And I've decided that spring is a bore. Love seemed sure around the new year. Now it's April, love is just a ghost. Spring arrived on time. Only what became of you, dear? Spring can really hang you up the most. Spring can really hang you up the most. Spring is here, there's no mistaking. Robins building nests from coast to coast. My heart tries to sing so they won't hear it breaking. Spring can really hang you up the most. College boys are writing sonnets in the tender passion they're engrossed. But I'm on the shelf with last year's Easter bonnets. Spring can really hang you up the most. Love came my way, I hoped it would last. We had our day, now it's all in the past. Spring came along, a season of song, full of sweet promise, but something went wrong. Doctors once prescribed a tonic, sulfur and molasses was the dose. Didn't help a bit, my condition must be chronic. Spring can really hang you up the most. All alone, the party's over. Old Man Winter was a gracious host. But when you keep praying for snow to hide the clover, spring can really hang you up the most. That was Russell Deason playing the piano so beautifully. Of course, I've got nothing to complain about. I'm lucky. I live in a place where not that many people have died from COVID-19, and I don't personally know anyone who did. Isn't that an awful phrase? Not that many people have died. So many survivors lost so much more than their time or their entertainment or their work. They lost their loved ones. This is a song about missing someone. I hope you don't need it. If you do, I hope it helps. Russell Deason is on keys. In the evening, when the kettle's on for tea, an old familiar feeling settles over me, and it's your face I see, and I believe that you are there. In a garden, when I stop to touch a rose and feel the petals soft and sweet against my nose, I smile and I suppose that somehow maybe you are there. When I'm dreaming and I suddenly awake without a warning, and I rub my eyes and fantasize, and all at once I realize it's morning, and my fantasy is fading like a distant star at dawn. My dearest dream is gone. I often think there's just one thing to do: pretend the dream is true, and tell myself that you are there. And then, as if we didn't already have enough to deal with, a Minneapolis cop murdered George Floyd, and 3 of his fellow officers stood there and let him do it. The country exploded. And if you didn't think we had a systematic problem with police before the protests, the way that police in many cities treated peaceful protesters made it clear that we do.
Before Lord God made the sea and the land, he held all the stars in the palm of his hand, and they ran through his fingers like grains of sand. And one little star fell alone. Then the Lord God hunted through the wide night air for that little dark star on the wind down there. And he stated and promised he'd take special care so it wouldn't get lost again. Now a man don't mind if the stars grow dim and the clouds blow over and darken him, so long as the Lord God's watching over them, keeping track how it all goes on. But I've been walking through the night and the day till my eyes get weary and my head turns gray, and sometimes it seems maybe God's gone away, forgetting the promise that we heard him say. And we're lost out here in the stars, little stars, big stars, blowing through the night. And we're lost out here in the stars, little stars, big stars, blowing through the night. And we're lost out here in the stars.
Thanks, Lee Strawn, for accompanying. Only a diehard optimist could have seen any hope in this situation. And honestly, I'm not one of those. But the world keeps turning. Let's see how our mystery pianist feels.
When lonely feelings chill the meadows of your mind, just think if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Beneath the deepest snows, the secret of a rose is merely that it knows you must believe in spring. Just as a tree is sure its leaves will reappear, it knows its emptiness is just a time of year. The frozen mountain dreams of April's melting streams, how crystal clear it seems you must believe in spring. When angry voices drown the music of the spheres, and children face a world that's far beyond their years, above the darkest sky, the far horizons lie, with every reason why you must believe in spring. crystal clear, it seems you must believe in spring. You must believe in love and trust it's on its way. Just like the sleeping rose awaits the kiss of May. So in a world of snow, of things that come and go, where what you think you know you can't be certain of, you must believe in spring and love.
The weather had finally warmed up, and all those protesters must have enjoyed it, because the riot settled down and peaceful protests went on for weeks. And a few laws were passed and some other changes were made or are in the works that might make things better. And more importantly, a whole lot of people became a lot more aware of the seriousness of racism. Maybe enough that next time a would-be George Zimmerman or an entitled dog walker crying wolf might think twice. And that racist looter in the White House went into his bunker and hid, and his poll numbers dropped. Enough to give me a little bit of hope. And then dog parks opened up again in June, and wow, were the boys happy to get back into their favorite park. And our friends in the East Bay invited us over to test out their new grill in their backyard. And my dentist started doing routine cleanings again, just in time for me to make the appointment that I'd set up in December. No, really, that's a good thing. Things were looking up enough that I did this with Jef Labes.
If I should suddenly start to sing, or stand on my head, or anything, don't think that I've lost my senses. It's just that my happiness finally commences. The long, long ages of dull despair are turning into thin air. And it seems like suddenly I've become the happiest man alive. Things are looking up. I've been looking the landscape over, and it's covered with four-leaf clover. Yes, things are looking up since love looked up at me. Bitter was my cup, but no more will I be the mourner, for I've certainly turned the corner. Yes, things are looking up since love looked up at me. See the sunbeams, everyone beams, just because of you. Love's in session, and my depression is unmistakably through. Things are looking up. It's a great little world we live in, and I'm happy as a pup since love looked up at me. See the sunbeams, everyone beams, just because of you. Love's in session, and my depression is unmistakably through. Things are looking up. It's a great little world we live in, and I'm happy as a pup since love looked up at me.
restaurants just started serving outside again, and all kinds of things will be allowed again soon. People are dancing in the streets, even on the Bay Bridge. I'm so glad that we can mingle safely again, now that we have a vaccine and treatment for COVID-19 in case you catch it anyway, and even contact tracing so that we can stop the spread of new cases. Nobody cares about that. We're all just sick of being inside. I think even Bunker Boy is out of his bunker now, but I don't think his poll numbers are coming back. Eryn Allen, let's tell the people how we're feeling.
Everybody look around, 'cause there's a reason to rejoice, you see. Everybody come out, and let's commence to sing in joyfully. Everybody look up, and see the hope that we've been waiting for. Everybody be glad, because our silent fear and dread are gone. Freedom, you see, has got our hearts singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? 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 Everybody be glad, because the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up into the morning, into happiness. Hello world, it's like a different way of living now. Thank you world, I always knew that we'd be free somehow. In harmony, let's show the world that we've got liberty. It's such a change for us to live so independently. Freedom, you see, has got our hearts singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? 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 Can't you feel a brand new day?
And that's our show. I'm going to imagine many, many minutes of wild applause. But one piece of unfinished business. You remember I mentioned that there might be a generation Q of babies born in quarantine. Well, there was a study. People don't actually plan families during disasters. They have enough sense to save it for later. Well, spring really was a little late this year. But guess what? It's later.
Oh, the barnyard is busy in a regular tizzy, and the obvious reason is because of the season. Ma Nature's lyrical with her yearly miracle. It's spring, spring, spring. All the hen folk are hatching while the men folk are scratching to ensure the survival of each brand new arrival. Each nest is twittering, it's all babysittering. There's spring, spring, spring. It's a beehive of budding son and daughter life. Every family has a plan in view. Even down in the brook, the underwater life is forever blowing bubbles too. Every field wears a bonnet with some spring daisies on it. Even birds of a feather show their clothes off together. Sun's getting shinery to spotlight their finery. It's spring, spring, spring. In his hole, though the gopher seems a bit of a loafer, the industrious beaver puts it down to spring fever. While there's no antelope who feels that he can't elope, it's spring, spring, spring. Slow but surely the turtle, who's enormously fertile, lays her eggs by the dozens. Maybe some are her cousins. Even the catamount is nonplussed by that amount. It's spring, spring, spring. Even out in Australia, the kangaroos lay off butterfat and all French fries. If their offspring were large, they might be dangerous. They've just gotta keep 'em pocket size. Even though to each rabbit spring is more like a habit, notwithstanding the fact is they indulge in the practice. Each day is Mother's Day, the next day some other's day. It's spring, spring, spring. To itself each amoeba softly croons, ach du lieber, while the proud little termite feels as large as a worm might. Old Papa Dragonfly is making his wagon fly. It's spring, spring, spring. Every bug snuggled snuggy in its own baby buggy, and in spite of policing, seems the tribe is increasing. That's 'cause Miss Katy once did what her matey did. It's spring, spring, spring. Daddy Longlegs is stretching out his creaky joints, and how busy can a bumble be? Flitting hither and thither she is, seeking joints with a spare room and a nursery. Each cocoon has a tenant, so they've hung out a pennant. Don't disturb, please keep waiting, we are evacuating. This home's my mama's, I'll soon get my own domicile. It's spring, spring, spring.
Thanks, Bryan Seet, for that amazing video accompaniment, and big apologies to him for cramming it into the aspect ratio of vertical phone video. You can find the full-sized single on my YouTube channel. And most of all, thank you all for listening. I hope I'll see you all real soon in real life. Oh, and wear a mask. Save lives.